There is a large expectation in the league, as there has been for months, by the way, that he will opt out of that contract. But obviously, if you're an unrestricted free agent, doors open. It means Bronny James will decide by midnight tonight whether or not he's going to remain in the draft, and all signs point to him doing so.
Ever since the Los Angeles Lakers were eliminated from the playoffs, many were speculating what their next move was going to be. They almost instantly fired Darvin Ham, but then there was a question of how they were going to improve their team. But as they were searching for their next head coach, one thing was very clear. LeBron James wanted nothing to do with the next head coach being hired. Some people speculated that this was simply because he didn't want to be made fun of for playing general manager of the Lakers. But it's even deeper than that, because now LeBron James is entering NBA free agency. How did we get here? So before we get to the content, we are on the grind to 1 million subscribers. Make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Before we start this upload, PrizePicks has us with another free square. All Dustin Poirier needs is one significant strike at UFC 302 for a square to cash, which means you could pair his free square with any player in the NBA and get up to 3x your money. And right now, when you use my promo code TheFlightMike on PrizePicks, they'll double your deposit match up to $100. I'll let you guys know what my picks are on my Instagram page at TheFlightMike, and thank you PrizePicks for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Ever since my Los Angeles Lakers bowed out to the Denver Nuggets in 5 games earlier in the playoffs, it seems as if the debate about the future of LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers has reached an all-time high. Originally, I didn't put too much stock into this because I felt like LeBron was going to return. He said that he wasn't even interested in joining the team that Bronny got drafted to, which is a stark contrast to what he was saying the years before. So could it be that LeBron James is lying? Well, here's what makes things even more complicated. According to LeBron James's best friend slash agent Rich Paul, he plans on entering free agency this summer.
LeBron's a free agent. You have to decide. I got to focus on his business, and he should be focused on his business. Let the Lakers hire whoever they want to hire, and he's always in play for whatever coach is there.
But as if matters couldn't be more unusual, with rumors of several teams having flooded the internet, his first son Bronny James has recently decided to enter the 2024 draft, despite having what was, by any and all objective measures, quite an underwhelming season at USC. But it doesn't stop there. At the recent draft combine in Chicago, Bronny James actually succeeded in doing himself some serious favors and improved his stock drastically in the process. Not only did he showcase his 40.5-inch max vert, which was good for 4th highest at the combine, but he also shot the ball spectacularly during a few drills, including this viral drill where he drained 12 threes in a row during his movement shooting drill, which is a drill specifically designed to test a player's shooting when he is tired. During the first scrimmage portion of the combine, it didn't take a genius to see that Bronny struggled mightily, from everything about his decision making to turning the ball over too many times. To say he had a poor first showing would be putting it nicely. However, to his benefit, with his mother and father in attendance the following day, Bronny turned it around for the second scrimmage and looked much more comfortable on the court, showcasing the ability to knock down some shots and make some plays, as well as continuing to demonstrate the type of defense on occasion that he has come to be known for. Actually, he didn't just look a little more comfortable, he showed enough throughout the entire process the second day to receive some recognition from scout Jonathan Wasserman. Bronny even went from being ranked 98th on ESPN's best available list beforehand, and even being named a top 50 prospect on other lists. To be fair to Bronny, the rise in stock isn't solely because of his father's apparent decision to leave Los Angeles and how the politics of the whole thing could wind up with father and son together. But that being said, we are then left to wonder, what exactly does this mean for LeBron and his decision now that it has been reported that he is going to enter free agency and see what his options are outside of Los Angeles? And could it really mean that the league's biggest underperforming team from this last season could be at the forefront of teams hoping to acquire the Kings' services? Yup, this is where the Phoenix Suns come in. Make no mistake about it. The Phoenix Suns were amongst the most anticipated teams to watch going into both the 2023-24 regular season and the postseason. Having 3 players in their starting lineup that have all averaged over 27 points per game at some point in their careers, the offensive firepower they were supposed to wield just never came into full fruition. Sure, However, it just barely managed to crack the top 10 in offensive rating with a 117.6 rating, but paired with a 13th rated defense at 114.5. It's not hard to see how they bowed out much sooner than many predicted. Whether this failure of theirs was due to the ineptitude of Frank Vogel, the egos of coach killer Kevin Durant, and pretty boy Devin Booker, the injury bug, or something else is up for debate. However, what's not up for debate for a team with such aspirations and predictions is that, objectively speaking, they did fail, and in quite brutal fashion if you ask me. A team with such talent and experience is simply not supposed to get swept in the first round, let alone by a team whose best player, despite being named as the next coming of Michael Jordan, is only 22 years old. This isn't to rag on the Timberwolves, because they do actually look like a team that is going to be around for many more years to come, but come on guys, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, the Phoenix Suns should be embarrassed to get swept while having such a trio of scorers. If you ask me, I think it was something else entirely, and I'm sure some of you KD fans will crucify me for this, but I think it was a classic case of the Suns not having a true leader on the court. The arrival of Mike Budenholzer will surely help, but when it comes to the five that step foot on the hardwood, it simply has to be mentioned that the only time Kevin Durant won the finals was with the team that had two leaders in Steph Curry and Draymond Green, and Booker only went to the finals on a team that was led by Chris Paul. With the extraordinary amount of haters he has, nobody can legitimately claim that LeBron James can't lead a team to the NBA Finals. After all, he once took this sack of pancakes roster to the finals. The man has won championships for 3 different organizations. No matter what you say about him, that speaks volumes, but it's also not the question per se. The question is whether or not he would be a good fit in Phoenix, and if so, would even such a thing be possible? This is where Bronny re-enters the picture, and what takes this from a wild rumor to something that could actually happen. You see, I know LeBron James has recently switched his tune from
I want him to get to the NBA. I want to be on the same. I want to be on the court with him. I think that would be an unbelievable moment.
Who do you want to play with?
Bronny is number one on my list.
That's dope.
He's number one on my list that I want to play with.
to saying that I don't want to play with my son anymore. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But there are reports out there that the Suns could decide to take Bronny James with their pick at 22 in order to entice LeBron James to join as well. It could be a power play for sure, which could even be styled as an attempt to force LeBron's hand in coming to Phoenix, especially when one considers the recent report that even though he has over 10 invites to pre-draft workouts, the only 2 Bronny is going to go to are the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, before we go on, I really have to say, does this not seem a little crazy considering the fact that Bronny was a bench player on a team that didn't even come close to making the NCAA tournament? Again, I'm not trying to rag on the kid, I hope he's successful, but it's absurd to me that this man didn't really play much meaningful college basketball minutes, yet here he is about to completely change the framework of the NBA. Now, here's where the plan potentially falls apart. We all know the Phoenix Suns are strapped for salary cap space. So in order for this to happen, LeBron James would have to sacrifice almost $50 million for the 2024 to 2025 season. One has to immediately discredit this as a possibility, seeing as every dollar LeBron James can earn will go a long way towards his post-basketball endeavors. But we also know that regardless of what he says, it has always been a dream for him to share the court with the Sun during an NBA game. And so if these past comments are indicative of the reality of LeBron's dream, then that would get rid of the rumors about him going to join former MVP Joel Embiid and first-time All-Star Tyrese Maxey on the Sixers. So let's say that the Suns could lure him into what could be dubbed the greatest super team of all time. Not only would we have to wonder if it would work out as they envision, but as a father, wouldn't LeBron have to also consider the needs and feelings of his boy and wonder if this would be the type of environment that his son's NBA journey should begin in? Yeah, sure, catching Kobe Bryant with a 5th championship alongside his son and Kevin Durant would be like the most legendary thing of all time, although fans would probably discredit it immediately. But considering all the egos on that team, wouldn't it also make sense for the crash and burn of the century? We're talking about the big 3 of Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, and Hakeem Olajuwon on the Houston Rockets. Or how about the Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce Brooklyn Nets? Or probably my least favorite, the 2012 to 2013 Los Angeles Lakers that had Dwight Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, and Pau Gasol, who are coached by Mike Brown for the first 3 games of the season before they fired him for Mike D'Antoni. A season where Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles and became a shell of his former self. Okay, sorry, I'm trauma dumping at this point. On top of that, there's just so many other questions to contend with this potential team. First of all, with all those stars on one team, plus Grayson Allen and Eric Gordon at the wing positions, where the heck are Bronny's minutes even going to come? And are NBA professionals that work their entire lives to get to where they are today going to be okay with losing a single minute to Bronny? Can you really tell me that this type of nepotism and daddy ball can really happen in the NBA unless if you're on the Los Angeles Lakers and you're LeBron James? We haven't seen it to this extent before, but perhaps for the leading scorer of all time, an exception would be made. Also, I failed to mention that what if the Suns do decide to draft Bronny with pick number 22, and then LeBron just decides to let his son go on his own route? The Phoenix Suns would have then drafted a player that they could have easily passed up on if not for the possibility of his father coming aboard. If you ask me, this is all a bit absurd. I mean, LeBron and KD winning a title alongside one another is already crazy enough, but to do it alongside Bronny too just all seems a little fanatical if you ask me. I think the man may be pushing this all too hard to make it happen and potentially harming the natural growth of his boy. And sure, you may say that I don't know much about being an NBA legend or even a father for that matter, but I do have a good eye for dynamics like this when I see them. Not to be cocky, but you don't get to almost 1 million subscribers without having some idea of what you're talking about.
I am back! What it do, baby?
I personally think that if Bronny is going to make the leap to the NBA like he has chosen to do, that LeBron should just let the kid be. I mean, seriously, Bronny's only 19 years old at the moment. Yes, 19. Most of us were still skipping college classes or driving delivery pizza at this age. The further we get into this, the more I think to myself to just let the kid go his own route. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't make a compelling spectacle and be absurdly fun to watch a Suns lineup of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, LeBron James, and Son, but if I were the kid's father, I would not only suggest him to have stayed in school, but I would have at least let him follow his own organic path through the NBA. But as we know, LeBron likes the spotlight that he has grown accustomed and addicted to, and if he does in fact insist on going forward with this, that we all have to concede that if we were to witness LeBron win one final championship and not only do it alongside his literal son, but also do it against one of the greatest scorers of our generation, that it would probably be the coolest story we will ever witness happen in the sport and the league that we all love so much. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Are LeBron and Bronny James about to form a super team on the Suns? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.